Copy. The only thing he taught me so far.
I was 10 minutes late.
Oh yes.
For the first meeting.
Yeah. What kept us together is really the sense that even today he makes me laugh more than any other person.
The title of the whole journal, 100 Reasons I Love You.
Oh my god, are you sure that he's German? Did you do that to me before? Huh?
You have 2 blankets in the bed. Like, do you not want to sleep with me?
在我和福哥新冠康复后，我们调理好了身体，踏上了第一段出远门的旅程。原本4个小时可以到达的行程，加上德国火车知名的延误历史，5个多小时后，我们终于抵达了柏林。在柏林，你可以看到各式各样的新老建筑，吃到不同地方的美味佳肴，认识不同国家的朋友，接触不同的文化知识。今天呢，我就想介绍一对中德夫妇朋友给你们认识一下。之前很多朋友会问我和福哥关于跨国婚姻的问题，这次我就给你们听听不同的声音。
今天呢，我要采访的这一对夫妇就非常有意思。一位老公呢是我的老乡，叫 Cedric， 还有一位呢是我们福哥的老乡，叫 Eric。我们这一次的聚餐 ，Eric 没有和她的老公说，因为想给他一个惊喜。我怎么觉得 Eric 有点我的风范，福哥？
对，我跟 Eric 也说了，我们2个人很喜欢搞惊喜，所以我们很愿意配合他。因为 Cedric 他也看过我的视频，然后他也只有在视频里面看到过我，但是从来没看到过我本人。所以今天 Eric 跟他说我们会跟一个老朋友见面，但是这个老朋友叫福哥，他就不知道。
好吧，我现在居然有点紧张，好像有点回到了之前给福哥惊喜的那种感觉。
No, 我都傻到不知道说是。
Good to see you. Nice to meet you.
It's good to see you.
That was a good surprise.
Yeah, so surprised. Okay. First of all, I want to ask Eric, how is your Chinese?
My Chinese, there's a little bit of room for improvement. Let's put it this way.
So, can you like maybe
Chinese Copy.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
没听懂。
I'm so embarrassed.
That's the only thing he taught me so far.
No. Copy.
Copy 啊。
So a new word.
anything else besides that?
No, I'm still getting ready to learn.
So like some basic greetings like 你好。
Ni hao, xie xie, of course. Sisu, Sainar.
厕所在哪？
厕所在哪呀？
Very important, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Pronunciation is shit. I know.
But I have this ability that I can understand all foreigners' Chinese. Like,
Oh, really?
she cannot understand, but I know what you mean, you know? He said, "So, I could understand it. You
it
didn't
took
get
me
it."
like one
took me
second
3
to understand.
Yeah.
A little different than all the rest.
Well, in my last year of my PhD in America, we had an exchange program with a German university in Aachen, and it was just going to be a 3-month, short stay in Germany. But I met Eric the first weekend that I flew in. But it's only 3 months, right?
Yeah.
Like we didn't expect too much. What's going to come out of it? Maybe it's going to be great 3 months and that's it, or it could be more. And then we just didn't give too much thought. We didn't stress too much about what's going to happen later.
Yeah. So the first impression was like
In front of the Rathaus in Aachen, a beautiful German city in the western part of the country.
Yes.
And it was next to a fountain, quite nice. We met there, and he looked so pretty and elegant and easygoing. He had a red, yes, absolutely. He had a red scarf from Oman, a nice leather jacket. He looked cool and smart and fun.
But I did commit a biggest sin in German culture. I was 10 minutes late.
Oh yes.
For the first meeting. He very graceful.
To jump in.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a big heart, so.
He was graceful enough to forgive me.
And then we just walked for 2 or 3 hours, and it was such a good conversation on so many topics that already then I felt, wow, this is a person I can talk about anything.
At the end of our first date, I knew we both of us had a good time, but I didn't quite know what are the rules of dating are.
Yes.
It was here in Germany. Like, do you in the US you would like not talk to each other for 24 hours, right? No texting.
So
Just, people like to play games. So I was pleasantly surprised and shocked when he basically was like, Cedric, I'm really enjoying our date, and I know you're only here for 3 months, and I'm a very busy guy. So let's pull out our calendar right now and plan out every single date for the next 3 months.
German style.
Yeah. Oh, what's interesting is that at the beginning, he even called our date appointment or a meeting.
But that's probably just my
Translation.
weird ways,
Yeah.
yes. But that made it possible that in these 3 months we met in Paris, in Hamburg, in Frankfurt, in Munich.
Thanks to his organizational skills and desperation on the first date, that could actually make the next 3 months work.
We've been together for 3.5 years now. I married 2 of them, a little more. I'm always scared to get these numbers wrong because then I'll be in trouble. Yes. What kept us together is really the sense that even today he makes me laugh more than any other person, which I think is very important in a good relationship, that you think the other person is funny, because that also means it's smart enough to make you laugh.
You think I'm funny?
Okay,
Laugh about.
I have to say, like, sometimes I don't understand his jokes. His jokes is killing me because it's a German joke, right?
Okay.
Another similarity for sure. I find him very funny. He has so many good ideas, so many thoughts, so much knowledge, and so it's never a wasted time for me to talk to him or to laugh with him.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah, I feel like you've practiced this.
No, I never saw
I know, I'm
the
just
questions before.
I think it's a sense of adventure. That's how we first bonded, even at first meeting, first date. We talked about all the places we've been traveling to. So we already seeded that first point of how we share a lot of sense for adventure, sense for novelty in common. I think that the following 3-4 years, we led that life as well, both throughout the 1 year of long distance, right? So we did a lot of traveling together. But then when COVID hit, then we got into a different type of adventure. So going from like traveling around the world to being trapped next to each other, not too far from here. That's the furthest our room was at the time. And we didn't want to kill each other.
Wow.
For 3 months.
It was a success.
Yeah, it was a success, exactly. So that's another kind of sense of adventure that we were able to overcome. So after that, basically we realized that we can have fun together. We can also endure misery together. And that's the type of partnership I want.
He's a great chef. He comes from Sichuan province. He cooks such good Chinese food, spicy, delicious. I love it so much. The challenging part is that I don't get my own plate anymore. In China, everything is shared, right? So often we share meals, we share the dessert, we share everything, and he's a much faster eater than me.
And I can talk and eat at the same time.
So for a while I used to be pretty scared that, there will not be enough for me. And it's just a shift of mind to accept that, this is ours now, and let's see what happens.
And then the German cultural difference I had a trouble accepting at the beginning is that you have 2 blankets in the bed.
Yes.
Which is to me crazy. Like, do you not want to sleep with me? Like, you can just tell me I can sleep on the couch. Like, as a couple, I think anywhere else in China, in the US, there's 1 bed and 1 big blanket.
Yes.
Cedric, I just told her yesterday, I really love the hotel we're staying in because it has 2 blankets.
Yes.
I hate these hotels.
We are so similar. I want my own blanket.
Yes, and I told her, I love this hotel that has 2 blankets.
But I do understand him because sometimes when we wake up in the morning and you really want to touch him, right, and hug him or kiss him,
or you want
right?
to fall asleep together.
But the problem is, you're stronger than me, in the night, and you just take the whole blanket for yourself.
Obviously, that's what's happening here.
No, this is not a
This is a Chinese skill or something. But
we take the food, we take the blanket. So for the first or second Christmas we were together, he took out the present for me and then wrapped us with a big box. I was like, okay, this is promising. But then was within like, okay, the even smaller package, okay, whatever, and this even smaller one. And then I opened up, it was a journal. Okay, I know. So for his podcast, his store sells these podcast journals. Okay, so I was like, oh my god, you're so cheap. You didn't even buy something special for me. You took it from your store and just give it to me. And then there's two versions. There's a big one, about $50, and then there's a smaller one. And then it was even the smaller one. I was like, you couldn't even give me the big one from your own store. So the expectation was already low. Now it's like at the very bottom. So then I finally opened that journal and then realized every single page was already filled. The title of the whole journal was 100 Reasons I Love You. And I thought it was an exaggeration, that there couldn't be 100 reasons in here. But no, he wrote down 100 reasons, and each one had a picture or a copy of our text messages or from WhatsApp to back it up, that reason. And it was every single page. So there were a lot of pages, and it was that really thick one because every page was, was a drawing, was another picture. And so I was already crying by the time I reached probably reason 50.
Oh my god, are you sure that he is German? Because we have the same German here, and did you do that to me before? Huh?
Not the same.
No, really? Oh my god, it's so touching, and I want to cry, really.
I'm still benefiting from that one good thought that I had all these years later.
That was first and last time.
Exactly, because now I keep reminding him, remember these 3 years ago? I should be fine another year, right?
Yeah, he's milking it still.
One of the cutest things I think Cedric did for me and for my family in that case was just pretty recently when my mom had a pretty tough time in her life. He ended up taking care of my mom in this tough time for 3 weeks while he was really busy himself working between Los Angeles, New York, Boston for different kinds of projects, taking her under his wings, spending all the time, putting in all the efforts to make her feel good, to understand her, to make her feel understood. That was something that was not an obvious offer to make, something that I would have never even had the idea to ask him to do. And the fact that he did it in a good mood and happily.
Here comes the top one.
Where do I start? Okay.
Yeah, 100 is 1,000 reasons. The even bigger journal. Yeah, exactly.
We are kidding about it. I'm sometimes saying I should write a volume 2. Yeah. I'm collecting ideas. One obvious thing that comes to mind is Cedric is very untidy at home. Given day, if you visit us spontaneously, you will find his socks in every room, in every part of the apartment, but always only one sock. Like in the evening when he watches TV or walks around, without any reason, he starts to take off one sock, throws it away, keeps on going, an hour later the other sock, and he does that every day, but he never collects them. So there's a lot of socks in our apartment.
For me, when we get into a car in the summer, for me the first thing you do is turn on the AC. Yeah. He would be, okay, buckle up, put the water here, making sure, set up the GPS. It's like 5 minutes later, I'm already sweating like a pig. The AC is still not on. And I'll tell him, get the AC on. That's the first thing you do, before the safety belts, before everything. Turn on the AC.
It definitely has been a challenge for both of us. When I told my family about Cedric, it was also the time I first told them about the fact that I'm into guys. So there were kind of two surprises for them. I thought it would be mainly a happy surprise because for me the main message is I have found someone and I'm really happy. It was really tough for them, mainly to accept that I'm gay, and it took them quite a few months and quite a bit of hard work. They always understood that the challenge is theirs. They never blamed me or put me down, but they still struggled with it heavily. Now, all these years later, I can tell you happily that my mom, for example, and Cedric are almost like best friends. They travel together, they hang out together. So a lot has changed, but in the beginning it was a little bit rough, to say the least.
I came out to my parents right after my bachelor's degree. So this is now 9 years ago, way before Eric, right? So, and it was a very tough time for either of them to accept that I'm gay. But 6 years later, my mom has really turned around, and even though because of coronavirus, they haven't met Eric yet, haven't seen physically together, but my mom has really come around and has spoken with Eric on the phone and really happy that I'm happy.
Yeah.
But my dad is still very much a work in progress. Yeah, he hasn't really accepted it yet.
But for me, I think like the most important thing is my kids are happy, right? And found the one that who really loves you and who is like taking good care of you. It's really not about gender. It's about like, is it the right guy? Are you planning on having kids? Oh, am I too gossip? I'm like those aunties, my aunties. Hey, Thomas and Julie, when are you gonna have kids?
Our plan for the future, it sounds very cheesy, but we have one shared mission, which is to really try to find as much shared happiness together as possible. So we want to make sure our shared happiness comes first. It's not about maximizing career, anything like that. We want to be happy in the place we live and people that we spend most time with. For us right now, that is Los Angeles. We are really happy there. We have found great people. I think we will stay there for quite a while. Yes, we are also talking about becoming a family. We don't know yet when that will happen exactly, but I think it is probably going to happen at some point down the road.
I think the first thing comes to mind is just have patience and assume good intentions until proven otherwise. I think go into, given there's a lot of barriers, whether it's language barrier, whether it's cultural differences, it's inevitable you're gonna misunderstand each other.
And I think it's important to go in with the understanding that there will be obstacles. It will not be easy to make it work, both because of misunderstandings, maybe also because you come from and maybe still live in completely different places. So there may be times in your journey together where you feel there is no future for us. Because it's for us in some parts of our long distance relationship, there were times where we didn't feel like, there is really difficult paths forward for us, which one to choose. No, we didn't see any path that was realistically bringing us together. But still we stuck it out because we felt it's worth it. Like, this is the time to try and to have a little bit of faith. And if you hang in there and are patient and understand that it is a process, then sometimes doors open that you didn't even know existed in the beginning.
Also, I think tolerance is also very important to the marriage like us, right?
I think that's very important. That's something we also learned. Tolerance and acceptance in the sense that maybe even after clarifying all the misunderstandings, maybe there are still some little things that still irritate you about the other person. Of course, can be personality, can be culture. I think it's important to not try to change that person and to often we try to tell our partner, you should be more like me, you should think like me, because that makes sense. No, I mean, my marriage with Cedric is interesting because he thinks differently. That's why it's rich for me. So if that sometimes irritates me, then I think that is the price to pay, and that is something I should happily accept and not try to change.
Next time when we argue, I'm gonna play this clip back to him. Listen to yourself.
That's fine.
But I do agree with that. Like before the first couple of years of our marriage, I really tried to like change him into another person. Then we got like so many fights, and I don't want to exaggerate here, but we were really like thinking about divorce. And now we went through that, and I know like the most way that for him is being happy is to be himself. After I realized that, I just just leave him alone. Like well, do whatever you like and just have your freedom.
Next time we fight, I will show this clip to you.
Okay, I think I got all my answers, and thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, we had just as much fun.
谢谢。然后
谢谢个屁。
You left me stranded, looking like a fool. All those nights alone in our bedroom. You said one thing and did another, didn't you? Know this, I refuse to be blue.
小夏，来问你个问题。
好，
你觉得 Eric 是不是 the most happiest things happen in your life？
当然啦，我记得就是自从我高中的时候，就是知道我的性向之后，我一直在担心我会不会找到我的真爱。然后十年之后，谁知道留学到美国，然后再留学到德国的3个月里面能够找到
你的幸福。
对，所以说我就现在特别的开心。
对， 哇，我看你们两个的状态也是，我自己也觉得哇，就是一个 two lovebirds， 你知道吗？
是，所以说我也特别希望所有人能够像我们一样开心，找到他们的所爱。
也像我和福哥一样，那就祝看到我们这段视频的人都能找到自己各自的幸福，然后发现生活其实非常的 colorful， 耶！哎，你给点表情好吗
？OK，
耶，你也要耶呀，重新来。然后一起发现这个生活是非常的 colorful， 耶！